United Arab Emirates, or the UAE, is a cluster of 7 emirates, 7, let's say, big cities. Each of the 7 emirates is separate. Each of the 7 emirates has its own king. Each of the 7 emirates has its own king and its own prince. Dubai is, without a doubt, the most popular of the emirates, but it is not. Contrary to popular belief, it is not the capital. The capital of the UAE is Abu Dhabi, and it is an emirate that is very close, actually next to Dubai. I do not know if there is actually a city that can compare in luxury to Dubai. I am unaware of this, I have not seen it. Even though Dubai and the rest of the Emirates have become very modern and luxurious recently, we should not forget that this part of the world is desert. And like any desert, the food is very different, because in the desert there is lack of water, which means a lot of fruits and vegetables are not easy to grow, are actually very difficult to grow in the desert, and it is very difficult to get hold of fresh produce. So the food is based mostly on grains and meat. The meat is because it comes from the animals that they herd. The grain can be made into bread, rice, and grain is very useful as well because it's not easily perishable. Dubai's history, or the modern history, is very short, approximately 70 years.
Dubai is renowned around the world as a very cosmopolitan, mega modern city. But although Dubai has so much influence from the cuisines around the world, as now there are so many people from around the world living in the city, we can look at the true roots of Dubai, the Dubai before the modernization, in its food. Still, typical food includes camel, includes rice, bread, olives, and dates.
Didn't even know that camel meat could be eaten, that it was meat, that it could be consumed. But I did know that camel milk, at some point in my life I heard that camel milk was drunk, some people could drink camel milk. It is said that if you go to a house and they offer you camel meat, this means that you are very respected and they are very happy that you are there. So it is an honor if you go to a house and they give you camel meat. Not only this, but it is also expensive. So it means that they really appreciate you because they're gonna give you something expensive. It's something very nice. Now, this meat is very distinctive. It's not a bad taste, but it's definitely a taste that I had not had before. I had not tasted this taste before. Not in a bad way, it's in a good way actually. This meat, lamb's meat, it has in it, this is like minced meat, and then ground meat, and then put together with spices. As you can see here, you can even see the leaves sticking out, right? And these are spices. But this meat has only a little bit of the taste on the outside, a little bit of condiment on the outside. But this is good because then you can really tell that it has a good taste, because the taste is not so much covered in the meat, right? The taste of the meat is not covered by any sauces or anything like that. But one of the things that you have to know is that the food here from Dubai is very adapted. It's food that a lot of the food is food that comes from outside that is adapted to Dubai, this dish is an example. Camel meat, which I think it's not eaten in many places. I don't know in what other place you can eat camel meat. And then this is camel meat. And then the dish comes with pesto sauce, which is an adaptation, right? Because pesto sauce is sauce from Italy. So even in this dish, which is kind of the most typical dish in this restaurant, still has an adaptation.
This is the first time ever of me trying camel's meat. Of course, we cannot buy it on this side of the world. It's not a very westernized meat. Even in Arab countries, it is very expensive, or should we say more expensive than other meats. I was surprised by several things. The first one is that, as you can see, it is not very cooked. I was not asked if I wanted it rare or very cooked. It was just brought to me. As you can see, it's a bit pink on the center, and I usually don't eat meat like this. I always use, or should I say, eat meat very well done. But the edges of the meat, as you can see, are more cooked than the center. And to be honest, I really like the center. I really liked the center better than the outside. I just took a bite. It's so delicious. I cannot wait. I'm gonna take a little one, another one. This meat is paired with potatoes, and the potatoes had more seasoning. Ironically, the potatoes had more seasoning in it than the actual meat. The combination was delicious, but the pesto sauce was so interesting. In it, we can see the influence of other cuisines.
It is no wonder that camel meat is a meat that is consumed and typical from here, because camels are super adaptable. So in the desert, camels are the animal that can be so easily adaptable because it doesn't need much water, because it stores the water, and it doesn't need to eat all the time. And while it doesn't eat and it doesn't drink, it still gives service to, let's say, the master, because it serves as the car, right? The camels help people moving from one place to the other carry their things. So here today I have two dishes. One of them is camel meat, just because I have no idea. Before coming here, I had no idea camel was a meat. I only thought it was transport. I had heard in some point or another that also the camel's milk was consumed, but I didn't know also the meat was consumed. And also I have a kebab dish.
When I read kebab in the menu, I thought I was getting the stick, the wooden stick, and the pieces of meat on it. But this kebab has ground meat. It's delicious. Ground meat in the shape of a stick. And it's brought to you with this bread. It's so see-through. And vegetables cut in big chunks.
This kebab dish is very good because it includes typical Arab food, because it includes meat and something regarding grains. In this case, it is bread. It is as fat. It has a thickness of paper. It's also very translucent. You can see light through it. And the kebab itself, which is the stick of meat, which is the stick of meat. Usually when we think of kebab, it includes the stick, right? The wooden stick around it. I didn't know it was gonna be like this. I really thought it was it would have the stick and it would be in pieces, but this is like ground meat made into like a stick of meat. Very interesting. Oh my god, so good. It has the texture of burger meat. It has the texture of burger meat. Actually, if you see it, you think it's like a burger in the shape of a Snickers. This meat, but the flavor, it looks like regular cow's meat, right? The texture is a little bit like cow's meat, like burger, like you're biting into a burger. But you can see, but it is different. It's like it, but it's different. I like this one better. The taste of this meat is once you bite it, you know what kind of meat it is. You will not get it confused with cow's meat. Okay, and let's see. I have here this paper, bread paper. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go like this. I do not know if it's like this, but I don't know. It makes sense to eat it like this. It doesn't taste the same, but it is the texture. It feels like tortilla. It certainly is. Well, it is thinner, but it's kind of like a tortilla, but it tastes different. This dish also includes vegetables, which is tomato, onion. For all the romantic couples, you want to eat like a whole chunk of onion. And so good. It looks like parsley, and yeah, and spices. It has some red spices on it. Oh yeah, it has lemon on it. It has spices and lemon. Definitely, it has lemon juice on it, and it has onion and spices. Very good. The kinds of food that can be preserved in other ways, like vinegar, or especially in olive. The olives are a special example of this, because the olives, although the terrain in this part of the world is not as, let's say, green as in other parts, it is very good for olive trees, and the olive is small, so it can be picked easily, and it can be conserved in olive oil. So it can be easily picked and preserved, so it can be eaten later, at a much later date. Since grain is such a staple in desert food, they are kind of experts in making it in different kinds of ways. Not in the loafy American or European way, but in different ways. For example, this is kind of a fluffy bread. You can see, you can squash it. And also this is very thin bread. It is just like a paper. Very crunchy. It's like, this bread is like just a chip. It's even crunchy when you bite it. Vegetables can also be preserved. The kinds of vegetables that can be preserved will be preserved in other types, like vinegar. Oh yeah, vinegar. So after the amazing meal I just had, they brought two kinds of dessert. They brought coffee, which is kind of a tea, and dates, which are very typical from the UAE. Let's see. So good. These are very plump. Usually they're kind of like look like raisins, but these are very plump. So good. These are very fresh. Usually the ones you buy are very kind of dried. They're still mushy on the inside, mushy being something good, but on the outside they look like raisins, very dry. These are very plump. They look like very big raisins. And then this is the tea. Coffee, they call it coffee, but the smell is like tea. Oh man, I want a candle out of this smell. And then it has cinnamon and other spices, and if you drink it warm, So good. I'm not the biggest of tea drinkers, but this is so good.
They even showed me how
Yeah.
to
Savory on the top. Of course, we're gonna be something sound, and we're gonna be professional, something in Saudi.
And after that, we have the two different desserts that they brought me. This is a saffron. This one is made out of saffron and almond. Must be so good.
I have to show it. It is so beautiful and delicious. It is paste of saffron and almond. It has a cotton candy type of sweet on top and pieces of almond.
So good. I don't know if you can tell. It has kind of a jello-y, not jello, like pudding texture. But it is so good. And then these ones are syrup and little flour balls. They're yellow on the inside. So good. And when you bite into it, it's like a donut, but better. It has the floury texture, but kind of more doughy, and it's yellow on the inside. It's so good. And then it has this kind of like marmalade on top, syrup. So good.
These dessert spheres are made of flour and saffron, and they have delicious sesame glaze on them. They are just beautiful and they are just so delicious.
You want to top it up with some tea? This has been an amazing experience, tasting the food, and not only tasting the food, the place where I tasted the food. As you can see, it is a beautiful restaurant called Siraj. It is right in the fountain. So if you come to this restaurant, you will eat delicious food. This has been an amazing experience. The food, and not only the food, but also the place. This restaurant is called Siraj Restaurant. Totally recommend it, and you might as well come here because the fountain, where you can see the fountain show, is right here. You can actually see the fountain show from the restaurant, and this is one of the musts in Dubai.
What an amazing place and amazing people. Delicious food. What more can you ask for? I will see you all next time. Bye bye.